Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Powerhouse Woman Show. We are live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Monica Pierre, and I'm so excited that every week we come here and we gather and we support each other, and we have some of the most amazing powerhouse women talk about their thought leadership, what they really believe, what they're passionate about, what they have created or built or supported, and they always give us some words of wisdom. So today we have an amazing powerhouse woman who's scheduled on today's conversation. I think it's one that many of you will say, "Huh, I didn't think about it that way before." But it's so important. It's so key, especially as they say in this economy, in this world, all the uncertainty. We need to lean into what we have created as it relates to our network. That's what we're going to be talking today, having a conversation, actually going deeper and expanding what we think of and what we view as our network. It's the right support system, right? It means so much. You can be counted on, you can count on others, you can get some information or some guidance as well. Our guest today is Stephanie Mbelu, and she is a strategic operations advisor, speaker, author. She owns her own agency. She spent more than 20 years serving in the United States Armed Reserves, and she's bringing a powerful perspective to our conversation about network, what a network is, who's in the network, and expanding our view of it. It's about support, it's about community, and it's about activation. And she's going to talk about that. So, how do we even ask for help? How do we even support others as well as ask for what we want? Are we clear about that? So, I sat down with Stephanie to talk about it.
When I talk about activating your network, I'm talking about all of the above. I'm talking about network as a quality of life infrastructure, not just a professional development tool. And that's how we tend to see it, is it's just for professional development, but it's actually for any area of your life, especially now with the current climate that we're going through, the socioeconomic climate, the political climate. We need to be activating our network at every level of our life, not just when it comes to professional interactions. You might need a doctor that's going to actually listen to you and listen to your symptoms and not brush you off. You might need good child care for your children. You might need lawn care so that you can have that off your plate and be able to not be burnt out. Like, there are so many ways we can use our network. And a lot of people think of it, it's just for opportunity when you think of it in a professional way. But I'm talking about using your network for both support and opportunity in a cyclical way, that it's an exchange.
Can you give us some examples? I know you mentioned opportunities for people to either make suggestions or share their experience that may be helpful. But let's talk about what that can look like so Powerhouse Women can really understand where all of these opportunities and treasures and support will lie.
Well, first of all, it lies in the actual practice of activation. We have to get in the practice of activating our network. As in, when we meet people, when we go to a networking event, or even if we meet people in social situations, thinking, how can we add value to this person? First of all, it's about creating value, right? How can we add? Then it's also about that exchange of value, right? And then when we talk about receiving value from our networks, the biggest thing is knowing what we need and then knowing how to ask for what we need.
That's so big because oftentimes, we know how to build relationships, right? We know how to do that as powerhouse women. What do you see is lacking or a strategy that someone can use to ask specifically for what they need as opposed to the generic, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm doing good. Don't worry about it."
Well, first of all, it's assessing your own needs, really being aware of not only what you need, but who you're willing to accept help from. So it has to do with, like, when people ask you, hey, what are you really excited about? What you're working on? What are you working on? Tell them. Because 9 times out of 10, when people know you're trying to do something, they will offer to help. Secondly, again, know where you're stuck, understand where you're stuck, and close those gaps in your network. For example, if there's something that you're trying to build and you're stuck on it and there's not anyone in your network that can help you, it's okay to be intentional about closing that gap in your network so that you can get what you need.
How do you assess what is no longer working or serving? Because not everybody stays in the network forever, correct?
This is so true. This is so true. That's another gap. There may be a gap between the network that got you to where you are and the network that's going to get you to the next level. So really it's a self-assessment, right? And it's about just assessing where you may have needs and thinking, okay, do I know anyone or do I have any resources? And it's not all about like transactions. Sometimes it's just like knowledge, resources, support. Is there anyone that can support me in this area? And then being intentional about going places and doing things that will help you to fill that gap.
What has being in the Army Reserve and your work really taught you about activation that you're seeing you can be really, because you're very direct. I love that. You get right to it. Oh, what did it teach you about activation?
One of the biggest lessons that the Army has taught me about activating my network is, first of all, in the Army, there's any type of operation, any type of mission is never built on the individual. The smallest unit that you're going to have is you and a battle buddy. Like it's always going to be you and someone else. And your battle buddy is not necessarily, well, you're assigned a battle buddy in basic training, right? That's your first experience with battle buddy. It's not someone you know. It's literally a stranger that you spend that time with. Now, back when I went to basic training, it was a little longer than it is now, but that is a complete stranger that's going to go through that process with you. And you're going through the same things. They're there to help you. They're there to provide community, and they're there to help integrate you into a larger unit, which is going to be like your squad, your platoon on up. So the Army taught me that there's nothing that you should be going into necessarily on your own, especially if it's going to be like a hostile situation. Like you're not going into that on your own. You're going into that in no less than a battle buddy team. Secondly, I learned a lot about what it meant to have like an opportunity aspect of your network and a support aspect of your network. Years ago, when I was a much younger woman, I decided to take combatives because I thought I wanted to teach combatives. So I decided to get certified in combatives. And so I went and started taking that training. And level one, it was a class of all services, all the different branches. And there's probably about 30 people in the class. And there was only me and one other woman. And so every day we'd leave all beat up and banged up and mad. And she'd be wanting to cry. Some days she'd be wanting to cry and quit. And then, I'd be like, no, girl, don't cry. Don't you let them see you cry. Don't you quit. We not quitting. And then some days I'd be crying and wanting to quit. And she'd do the same thing for me. But eventually we graduated. And so in that situation, that network, mind you, this was a complete stranger before the class. We were there to help each other accomplish a goal. And we pushed each other and we were able to accomplish that goal and make it to graduation. But later in my career, after, at the end of a particularly difficult deployment, I had another woman come to me one day, it was a sergeant major. And as soon as she walked in my office, I just broke down in tears. I mean, just crying, snot running and everything. And she knew that's what I needed. I needed that. It was a really difficult deployment. It was during COVID. And so in that moment, even in her leadership role, she provided support. So that's where I really learned, like, you have to understand like what your network needs. What you need from your network, and you have to be vulnerable enough to take help when you need it.
Tell us a little bit about your company and how you are serving, and even the evolution of how you are serving as you look into this in today's world, what particularly powerhouse women can really use.
So I started my company because I saw that a lot of women needed operational support. I saw that a lot of women were running their businesses, working both in their businesses and on their businesses. And I just was like, it doesn't have to be that hard. Like, essentially, we need battle buddies, right? She needs a battle buddy. And so I started my business to be that. I got my OBM certification in 2022 and started basically being the operational support for women in their business on a retainer basis. Now I have enjoyed that, but I see that we really need to spread the message beyond the number of clients that I'm able to help individually. I also see a need within the operations community for community and operations support among for us to support among each other. So this year, Doyen Consulting is pivoting into a full operations agency so that I can provide more support to more women business owners and also provide support to other operations professionals, OBMs, fractional COOs, as it relates to professional development, marketing. A lot of people in operations really don't like to market. That's not our strong suit. Our strong suit is kind of being that number two. So this offers an opportunity for operations professionals to work in a great environment and with great mission aligned, values aligned clients without having to do that. So I'm really excited about this because I really see this as an opportunity to serve exponentially more women, both on like as clients and then also offering really great employment opportunities for operations professionals.
Wow, that's amazing. And we're happy for you too, Stephanie. Thank you for sharing that so we'll know how to support you. So many thoughts were coming as I was revisiting and hearing again the interview with Stephanie. One was be clear about your ask and practice it. Practice it. That could be such an intimidating thing, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you are with the words, the more comfortable you get with what lands, what is important, how clear you get. And the other one is we all need battle buddies. Wow. We all need battle buddies. You need a battle buddy. I need a battle buddy. We all need everyone in our circle, our community, our network that we are directly impacting. We need that battle buddy. And for those of you who will be the battle buddy, it's not always that we need you to fix it. Sometimes just to listen, sometimes just to pray, and that's not just, but praying and supporting. And sometimes the other person doesn't know all of the things that you're doing as a battle buddy, but you are there. So don't count that as a small thing. And I so many thoughts, especially when it comes to my network. And thank you, Stephanie, for helping us to enlarge how we see our network. My network, especially, I'm so blessed, is that when I started, it'll be 5 years next year, 2027, when I started Story Maker Academy. The people who went through the academy, the previous cohorts, became my network. The story is basically after we did the first one, I said, live long and prosper. Go out there and tell your story. Going, no, 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 couillon. How do we continue this? So they have been so amazing. I consider people who watch our show, this Powerhouse Woman show, as our network. And I'm going to take a second and say hello to you. Is it LaChristia? It's beautifully spelled. I hope I'm getting that correctly. Thank you for being in our network. And Sandra Marshall, thank you so much for being in our network as well. Story is important. It connects us. And I think I really want to say that we should reach out to people in our network and thank them for being in our network. Maybe it's just a review for someone. I'm going to send one to the person that I always buy my car from. I worked with him a couple of days ago. He's in my network. There's no one like him. Maybe it's the person who cuts your grass. They're in your network as well. And it's so important to recognize people. Some say give them their flowers while they're still here. I say just lift them up. Find a way, a note, a text, an email, a reminder of how important they are, to you, and let them know. Don't take for granted. They know that. Find ways. And especially if someone crosses your mind today, reach out to them. Let them know I thought about you. You crossed my mind today. Thank you for being a part of my treasured network. Thank you for the times you were there, that you listened, that you admonished me, that you held me accountable. Whatever it is, thank you so much for that. As I mentioned, the Storymaker Academy, there are many people who've gone through the academy and the cohorts. They are in my network. I thank you for that so much. You want to learn more about what we do in the Storymaker Academy, I'm going to clearly ask that you go online to storymakeracademy.com. Get on a call with me. If you have been hesitant, if you have been reluctant, if you've been scared to tell your story or to find a way to figure out what that story is to tell in a particular situation, the Academy is a place you need to explore and find out more about. And I'm happy to do that with you. And my final ask is for you, if you are resonating with what we've been talking about today and on this show, the Powerhouse Woman Show, I ask that you subscribe, leave a review, comment, like. And I used to be the kind of person, oh, I got to do all that. It's so important that we do that. That's how the good stuff gets out into the world. So you have a very important role, and I would be so honored, so excited if you would do that. Yes, Sandra says, yes, ma'am. All right. All right. Have a great day. Join us again next time, next Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Time for the Powerhouse Woman Show. Bye-bye now.